You close your eyes and sink into a deep sleep. Minutes pass, then hours. No record, no story or image, no familiar or unfamiliar faces appearing in new places, no feelings or emotions whatsoever, the feeling of not having dreamed. And this repeats every night, the same silent cycle replaying itself each night. Most of us think this is normal. Maybe we even think it's a good sign, like an uninterrupted, peaceful, restful sleep. But neuroscientists offer a very different explanation for what your brain is signaling in that silence. It doesn't mean you slept more deeply. It doesn't mean your brain got deeper rest. It means something entirely different. And once you understand what that is, you'll never want to spend another dreamless night again. Every night, your brain passes through different stages of sleep. Light sleep, deep sleep, and a distinct phase called REM. This is where real dreams happen. During REM sleep, your body becomes active, much like when you're awake. Your heart rate shifts. Your muscles temporarily lock up, so your body doesn't physically act out what your mind is experiencing. And beneath your closed eyelids, your eyes begin to move silently, rapidly, in the dark. REM sleep is a significant event. This is when your brain consolidates emotions, forms new memories, and builds unexpected connections between ideas that your waking mind would never put together. Researchers at UC Berkeley found that during REM sleep, the brain essentially replays and reorganizes the day's experiences, preserving the memory itself while stripping away the emotional weight. Think of it as the software update your brain runs every night. Dreams aren't entertainment. They're proof the update is actually working. So what happens when dreams go silent? This is where things get interesting. Most people who think they don't dream actually do. Every single night, they just don't remember. Remembering a dream requires waking up during or immediately after a REM cycle. If your alarm goes off between cycles, or if you drift seamlessly into lighter sleep, the dream disappears before your conscious mind has a chance to catch it. The dream was there, you just missed it. But for some people, the absence is real. And the reasons behind it tell us something important, not just about sleep, but about how the brain functions day to day. Chronic stress is one of the biggest causes. When cortisol, your primary stress hormone, stays elevated throughout the day, it quietly disrupts your sleep architecture in the background. REM cycles shorten and become less frequent. Some dreams get skipped entirely. Your brain never shifts into the state where deep dreaming is possible. It stays on alert, on standby, never fully letting go. This is your brain's protective instinct. The problem is, without enough REM sleep, the emotional processing that's supposed to happen at night doesn't. Difficult experiences don't get properly filed away. Forming new memories becomes harder. Your emotional balance during the day gradually weakens. You wake up technically rested, yet somehow feeling heavier and more drained than when you fell asleep. And you can't always figure out why. Certain nighttime beverages are among the most significant factors disrupting dream architecture. You think having a drink before bed truly relaxes you? And in the short term, it does. These types of drinks increase deep, slow-wave sleep in the first half of the night. That's a real and measurable effect. But as your body metabolizes it during the second half of the night, right when REM sleep should be peaking, your sleep architecture starts to fragment. The result, deeper sleep in the early hours, followed by lighter, fragmented hours with almost no dreaming. A clinical study confirmed that even moderate consumption of this type significantly suppresses REM sleep. It's not just heavy consumption, moderate consumption too. That one glass that feels relaxing is quietly blocking some of the most important work your brain does through the night. The first half of the night feels restful. The second half, where real cognitive renewal happens, barely gets started. Certain medications can cause this too. Some prescription medications are known to suppress REM sleep in many people. Certain regularly used medications carry the same documented effect. If you've noticed your dreams disappearing around the time you started a new medication, that's probably not a coincidence. This is a known biological mechanism, but it doesn't always come up in conversations. It doesn't mean the medication is wrong for you. But it's worth knowing, because in this case, the silence doesn't mean your brain has stopped dreaming. It means the chemical balance has shifted. So does it actually matter? If you're waking up rested, if your days feel clear and productive, does it really matter whether you dream or not? Some researchers say the absence of remembered dreams is largely harmless. Others argue that chronic REM suppression, whatever the cause, carries real cognitive costs over time. Studies have linked chronic REM reduction to increased anxiety, decreased creativity, and weakened emotional memory processing. Your brain can compensate for a while, but the cost accumulates quietly. So tell me, do you actually remember your dreams? When was the last time you woke up in the middle of a story, a scene, carrying a feeling you couldn't shake? When was that? Because the answer to that question can tell you more about your sleep quality than any fitness tracker ever could. There's another group worth mentioning. For some people, the low dream count isn't about stress, substance use, or medication. It's simply how their brain naturally operates. Introverts, for example, tend to have longer and more vivid dream recall than extroverts. This is likely because they spend more time during the day engaged in internal processing, which seems to make REM activity richer and more narrative. People who experience emotions more intensely and deeply tend to remember their dreams more. And people who spend their waking hours suppressing their emotions tend to suppress their dreams at night too. The brain doesn't suddenly gain the ability to express itself after midnight. It keeps doing exactly what it's been trained to do all day long. So what can we do to reclaim our dreams? The most effective first step is also the simplest. Put a notebook next to your bed, not your phone, a notebook. The moment you wake up, before reaching for anything, before moving too much, write down every fragment you remember. It might be a single image. It might be just a feeling with no connection to any scene. It might be a single word. Over time, this trains your brain to recall information before it disappears entirely. Dream recall is a skill. For many people, it's a dormant skill. But it can absolutely be rebuilt, and research shows that with regular practice, it begins to respond within just a few weeks. Reducing this type of consumption, managing cortisol levels through movement or mindful rest, and stabilizing your sleep-wake schedule all contribute to richer, longer REM cycles. And if a medication seems like the most likely cause, it's worth talking to your doctor about timing or alternatives. It responds consistently and precisely to what you give it. Before we reach the end of this, there's one more detail we need to understand: the relationship between your sleeping and waking life. Your brain doesn't treat sleep as a separate chapter. It treats it as a continuation, a place where everything you experienced, felt, avoided, or worked through during the day gets revisited and processed in the dark. This means the quality of your dream life is, in many ways, a reflection of your waking life. People who move through their days with some degree of emotional honesty, who allow themselves to actually feel what's happening rather than constantly pushing it aside, tend to dream more vividly and remember those dreams more clearly. Their REM cycles run longer. There's more material for their brain to work with, and more willingness to work with it. People who move through their days under constant pressure, always moving, always producing, never fully processing, tend to notice their dream life gradually going quiet. It's not because they sleep noticeably worse, but because the brain that falls asleep each night is still in a low-level state of activation, still on alert, still managing. A brain on alert can't easily drop into the depth that dreaming requires. That's why resting during the day, real rest, not just distraction, genuinely affects the quality of your sleep at night. A nervous system that experiences true recovery moments while awake enters sleep with less of a burden. Less cortisol to metabolize, less tension to carry through the night. And the result is usually deeper REM cycles and a dream life that quietly begins to return. It's worth knowing that the content of your dreams isn't random noise, which means paying attention to your dreams, even casually, even imperfectly, can give you access to things about your inner world that your waking mind often can't see. You don't need to analyze your dreams or interpret them. Just write them down when you wake up. Let them exist on the page before the noise of the day begins. And that single act alone, acknowledging what your sleeping brain produced, changes the relationship between your waking mind and your dreaming mind. And over time, that relationship grows stronger, more detailed. Your dreams matter. Ain't. They are the effort your brain makes while doing some of its most important work. Processing what's hard, connecting what matters. It's quietly building a version of you that wakes up tomorrow slightly different from the one who fell asleep tonight. When dreams go silent, part of that process goes silent too. Not permanently, and never without reason. While you sleep, Your brain is always working on something. Constantly sorting, constantly connecting, constantly trying to bring you a little closer to balance than the night before. Even when you don't remember where you've been, the work was happening. The only question is whether the conditions were right for it to be completed. The quieter your nights have been lately, the more that question is worth asking, because your brain never stopped trying. It's just been waiting for the right conditions to show you what it's been doing all along.